family. We have the big Champions League clash ahead of us between Paris Saint-Germain and Liverpool FC. And you guys asked for it. We have Don Hussam, one of the biggest, if not the biggest Liverpool fan out there. Welcome, Hussam.
Yes, thank you for having me. We're here. This is going to be a big fixture. I think a lot of people, neutrals as well, are looking forward to this fixture. Appreciate you having me on enemy territory to talk football. You get me? So yeah, appreciate you. Let's go. I'm excited for this one.
So, I mean, first of all, I have like just some overall questions by yourself. Like, I know that you're from Jordan, right?
Yes, I'm Jordanian.
And so, how long have you live in the UK?
No. I'm Jordanian. I live in Jordan.
Oh, you live in Jordan.
Yeah. I live over here.
Okay. So, how long have you supported Liverpool, and what got you into supporting Liverpool?
I started watching football for the first time. I'm born in 1995. I started watching football first time FIFA World Cup 2002. As per usual, most international fans first start by watching international competitions. I liked Michael Owen, and Liverpool chose me. I didn't choose Liverpool. I was chosen. I became a Liverpool fan from ever since I was a child, basically. Michael Owen broke my heart, played for Man United. I never forgive him. But yeah, I've been a Liverpool fan essentially all my life, through the bad eras, through the banter eras, through everything. I watched the likes of Paul Konchesky, David Ngo. I could name you players that many people in the chat won't even like. Plessis, Christian Poulsen, Paul Konchesky, like bad days, man. But alhamdulillah, we're here. We're now the best club in Europe as things stand, which is unexpected this season, but we're here. And yeah, I've supported Liverpool my whole life through the ups and downs.
Would you say this is the best period?
Say that again, sorry?
Would you say this is the best period, like that Liverpool have been in?
Oh, of course. Klopp era onwards, like, difficult in the Klopp era onwards is like 5th place, but before that, life was a lot more difficult before then. Like, we had seasons where under Roy Hodgson, he said we're not too big to get relegated. Maxi Rodriguez scored the winner away at Bolton. He got out of 17th place or 16th place at the time. Like, it was really bad. Klopp onwards, ever since Klopp became Liverpool manager, like, obviously it's a lot more like, the bad time for us is like not to win the league or not to win the Champions League or not to win anything. That's bad for us now. But like 15 years ago, bad was like 10th place, 9th place, 8th place. Like, we went through a difficult time. But this is definitely the best period right now. Specifically post-Klopp, when a lot of people, and rightfully so, thought it was going to be a tough period, but we've come out the other end flying, to be honest with you.
All right. This season, what were your expectations going into it with Jurgen Klopp going and Arne Slot? Like, what were your thoughts about Arne Slot? Did you have any confidence going into the season with him?
No. I don't think most Liverpool fans had confidence that we'd be in this position right now. Like, I'm going to just be completely honest with you. 99% of the people were probably like myself, say, okay, we're going to challenge for the league, but we're going to end up finishing 3rd, maybe winning a Carabao Cup, maybe winning an FA Cup, and in the Champions League, you never know, type thing. That's probably what most people thought, whether you're a neutral or a Liverpool fan. 99.99% people didn't think we'd be in this position like at the start of the season. I don't think anyone did, to be honest with you, yourself included. Like, no one expected this. If I said someone's going to be top of the Premier League by 13 points in April almost, most people would say what? Manchester City. If it wasn't Manchester City, some would say Arsenal. No one would have said us, but we're in this position. Currently have the best player in the world. Overachieving on all ends, to be honest with you. Like, you look at the position that we're in right now, and Slot has done a phenomenal job. A lot of things he's done this season, like the Gravenberg at DM thing, is something that was just out of nowhere, like quite literally out of nowhere. He did it, he implemented it, and it's been a fantastic implementation. The style that we had specifically towards the start of the season, where we're a bit more cautious. I think we have a bit more of that right now. Like, when we're 2-0 up, we don't try to score the 3rd and the 4th. Jurgen Klopp, heavy metal football. Now it's like Arne Slot. Sometimes it's like opera, Sometimes it's like slower. Sometimes it's like recorder. Remember back in the school when you had the recorder? It's like sometimes recorder. It's not always like just heavy metal football all the time. And I think this is the big difference for us this season. Like, we've kind of become a club that takes our moments, if you would like. We arrive in moments. We don't have to be 90 minutes just full on, just attack. And I think it'll be interesting as well for the game this Wednesday. Like, given the fact that the first game obviously is in Paris, I don't expect slot. Like, don't expect Liverpool to come there like Klopp era and just attack. I think it's going to be a different type of Liverpool that comes to Paris. But in terms of expectation, listen, people can say all they want, but no one predicted Liverpool to be here. I don't think Liverpool predicted Liverpool to be here. And you can tell by the transfer window. Like, we bought no one. Okay, we bought Chiesa, but in essence, yani, we bought no one in the summer window. We bought no one really in January. So, you know, we just kind of went rock and roll with the squad, and whatever happens. I don't think no one really expected us to be here, I'll be honest with you, but we're here. And we deserve to be here because of all the effort put in by the manager, by the players. We've exceeded everyone's expectations and absolutely smashed it. There's people who have us favorites to win the Champions League, like, you know, obviously league, I think we're going to win that. So yeah, it's really good to be in this position, obviously.
What would you say now that would you say the league is finished?
Yes. I think it would be unfair of me to prolong this BS any longer. You know, I love an underdog gimmick. I ran a massive underdog gimmick throughout YouTube, you know, Leopard in the Tree, Leopard Nation Rise, if there's any of you in the chat, if you know, you know. But I think at this point in time, I have to be honest about it. Like, obviously, Arsenal have got essentially no Saka, no Martinelli, no forward-line player. They're 30 points behind us. It's way more likely that they drop more points than we drop more points. And, you know, despite the fact that we have a couple of difficult fixtures remaining, I think we will win it. Like, I think we will win it. I'm not... If it was Manchester City chasing us, prime Man City that could win 13 games in a row, I'd be a bit more cautious about it. But the fact that it is Arsenal, with all due respect, in their current state, I really do believe we are going to win the league now, which is massive to us because we equal Man United's number now. And khalas, if you're a Man United fan, block me. Don't subscribe to Don Husam. If you're a Man United fan, I'll make you hate your life this summer. I will make you hate your life. You will hate me forever because the stuff that I will say to that shaitan club is never going to end. It's never going to end. Till the day you rest, you will remember what I'll say this summer.
Not to take anything away from what Liverpool have done in the Premier League, sitting first and everything, but from an outside perspective, with you being a big Premier League fan, watching the Premier League, do you think this is the weakest Premier League has been ever since maybe Leicester won the league? In terms of the big clubs and the top six?
This is the strongest Premier League for the last 15 years. I mean, anyone can beat anyone. Bournemouth is now a tough game. Brighton is now a tough game. Brentford is a tough game. Forest is a tough game. Like, there is no easy game in the Premier League anymore. And you can see the gaps, like, you know, getting smaller. The team in 17th currently, Wolves, Cunha probably starts for the entirety of the league. Like, you know, Joao Neves in midfield. You got Andre in midfield, Lemina, all good players, you know. You've got the likes of Ait Nouri, who could honestly sign for any of the big clubs at left back or at left wing back. The Wolves are 17th. I'm not going to talk about Mbuemo and Wissa. I'm not going to talk about Bournemouth cooking. And you know something, then I don't know how old you are, but probably, you know, you hear this a lot, you know, people talking about back in the day football and nostalgia and all this beautiful stuff. This is the most nostalgic season we've had. This is a proper Barclays Premier League season where it's like anyone can beat anyone. We went away to Bournemouth. We fought for our life to win over there. And it was literally a Salah goal out of nowhere that won us the game. You go away to Brentford. Darwin Núñez had to come on and score 2 goals at the end for us to win the game. Very difficult fixture. Forest, we haven't beaten this season. And they've given a lot of teams hell in the Premier League this year. Brighton went to the Emirates, got a draw. Very difficult fixture. So the space and kind of the space between like the teams is lessening. And I'll reverse the question on you. Why is it this year that it's the weakest Premier League and not the years where City won the league by 100 points? Because if we're being objective about it, if a team is beating everyone and getting 100 points, that's the weakest. Like, that's the weakest form of a league you could see. Whereas now, you're not guaranteed to beat anyone. Every game is a tough game and you have to fight for your life to win.
Well, then I have to maybe change my question to more like competing for the title. Because like in those seasons you mentioned when City, you know, got 100 points, you had the Liverpool team 1 point behind them, 2 points behind them. So the question then is, do you think winning the Premier League for a team like Liverpool, because especially you guys, every single time under club when you've been trying to go for the Premier League, it's always been a City in the mix or something. But this season has been like an Arsenal with a lot of excuses about injuries and mentality problems and so on. So you agree, like the average quality of the Premier League has never been better. But what about the competition for the top spot then?
Okay, but when you say competition for the top spot, here's what I can give you, like a simple response. We have watched plenty of Premier Leagues, whether it's 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where a team ran away with it. No one was complaining 20 years ago when Chelsea's Mourinho ran away with the league and they only lost one game in the league. No one was complaining when Arsenal went invincible, didn't lose a single game and won the Premier League title. No one complained when Man United, Alex Ferguson ran away with the league with no competition probably 4 or 5 times during his era. But because it's Liverpool running away with the title, oh, this is the weakest Premier League ever. But for neutrals, like even some of my friends who don't really watch Premier League football, in the Arab world, it's mostly Barcelona and Real Madrid, let's be honest. So most people don't even watch Premier League. They've coming to me this season and they're like, yo, we're watching the Prem now because it's so entertaining. Like, you could honestly switch on a Bournemouth-Brighton game and be entertained. Forest beat, I think lost to Newcastle or beat Newcastle 4-3. Like, it's been top level. It's not my fault that Salah decided to have an all-timer season. Slot is cooking, Van Dijk is cooking, Gravenberch, these players, and there's no one really competing with us. And Arsenal only have themselves to blame.
Yeah,
that's the reality. And if people bring up injuries, but you were behind us by 8 points, even with all your players fit. I can bring up multiple examples this season, like Newcastle, like Everton, where Arsenal had all their players fit and still dropped points without any controversy, no referee, no VAR, nothing, and you still dropped points.
Yeah.
So it's not if your problem with this league, if you would like, is title challenge, then you have to talk to the teams in second and third. It's not my fault. I mean, City missed out on Rodri, and all of a sudden they went to the shits. Just one player injured, and khalas, season done, season finished, and it's over for them. So it's not on me; it's on them. Manchester City in January spent 150 million. Nico Gonzalez, Vitor Reis, Kusanov, you know him from your own league. Plenty of players they signed. They still didn't manage to get back into the title race. That's not my fault. But as a league itself, this is genuinely the strongest I've ever seen it. And there's an honest reason for it. Bar the 3 clubs getting relegated, you could probably take players from all 17, 16 teams in the Premier League to start for Liverpool. And that alone is an indicator of strength of the league. No one can say Mbeumo doesn't start for Liverpool. No one can say Cunha doesn't start for Liverpool. No one can say, like a Mitoma as an example from a Brighton, or a Baleba from a Brighton doesn't start from Liverpool. Those players start for us and we're top of the league and flying. So that shows you the quality of the league this season. Isak, some people say he's the best striker in the planet right now. Like he plays for Newcastle. They're 6th or 7th. So the quality of the league is at an all-time high for me. And if you're like a neutral watching it, you're enjoying it. And if you want to blame anyone for no title race, blame Arsenal. Don't blame me. I'm doing my job. Even we've dropped points a couple of times here and there, and they haven't capitalized. I drew to Aston Villa. I lost my head on Wednesday. I was like, stop talking about calculations. I've had enough, guys. This is about momentum. And then Saturday, West Ham 1-0 Arsenal at the Emirates. So it's not my fault there is no title race. It's your fault, Habibi. You do better. Well, I didn't do anything. You get me? So, yeah.
No, 100%. So you're saying teams like City, Chelsea, these teams not doing what they should be doing is because of the rest of the Premier League, how good it's been. Like you have to be really good to be competing for the top spot.
Themselves, they have to hold accountability. Chelsea were 2 points behind us. Mo, they were 2 points behind us. They're like 18 points behind us now. That's not my fault. You could have challenged. Even Chelsea could have challenged. They didn't. That's not on me.
And do you think Liverpool? Do you think all the other teams will come back next season? Like City and Chelsea, maybe, because they are the teams I feel underperforming the most.
City, Chelsea. I'll be honest with you. I think City probably will be like, if I have to back someone other than my club next season, I think City will come back. City last time they lost a league title to us, came back and won 4 in a row. So I'm never going to push Pep Guardiola and Manchester City to the side just because they had a bad season. So for me, Man City definitely is a team to look out for. Arsenal depends what they do in the summer. Yeah, and if you wait all this long and then sign Sesko in the end, don't tell me that I'm supposed to be scared of you with Sesko. But if you wait all this time and you sign Isak, okay, now we're talking. Now I think you're a team that can contend and you can challenge and you can win the league next season. So yeah, like I think with Manchester City, it'll be crazy to not back them. Chelsea, it depends what they do on the transfer window. If they sign another 10 kids again, then no, they're not going to win the league.
And for Liverpool in the upcoming seasons with the Salah, Trent, Van Dijk, and the Konate contract extension, are you confident about all of them extending? Who do you feel is not going to stay? And do you think he will have a big impact on Liverpool in the future?
I don't know your connections in Paris, but I needed to make 4 or 5 phone calls. Tell Nasser Al-Khelaifi, come by Liverpool, please. I can never be confident with anything transfer related or contract related with FSG owning the football club. If we had the PSG owners, Salah would have contract extension signed already. Van Dijk the same, Trent the same. They wouldn't have play about with those things, but unfortunately we don't. And unfortunately we got FSG. So with FSG, I can never ever be confident ever for us extending a contract or buying a player or anything of that note. So that's the problem for me. So as long as FSG are the owners, I can never ever be confident that we're going to keep someone or we're going to sign someone or any of that.
Is it all about money for them? Like they don't want to give too much money to certain players, especially like Salah and Van Dijk. They see them as old or what?
Look, Newton has a law of gravity. Your weight is your mass multiplied by 9.8 newtons. This is something we learned in basic physics in school. 9.8 newtons does not apply on the moon. Every rule needs to have an exception. I don't care if FSG say you're above 30, so we're not going to give you a contract extension. If you're looking at what Salah is doing right now, he's the best player in the world. The numbers he's putting is not normal. It's not human. Like it's literally been compared to Messi numbers 10 years ago. So it's something that we don't see. Whether you like him aesthetically or not, the output, the efficiency is absolutely insane what he's doing on the football pitch. So he should be an exception to the rule. Yes, we don't usually give contracts to someone 30 plus, but because you're so amazing, we give you a contract extension. And mashallah, his injury record is very good. Same with Virgil van Dijk. It's not crazy for me to say Van Dijk is the best center back in the world this season. That's not a crazy take. That's a completely objective and fine take. So he deserves a contract extension. With Trent, I think it's a different type of beast. And it's the same for you as well. You saw it last summer. When Madrid come calling, it's a different knock. And this is something I accept as a Liverpool fan. I know that I support a bad boy club, but there is someone who's like more bad. You know, there's someone who's just more like, you know, more like attractive. And this is reality when it comes to Real Madrid. When Real Madrid knock on your door, you gotta have to answer the call, whether you're a local boy or not. And that's something that unfortunately I have like accepted as the season progressed. I think with Salah and Van Dijk, they both want to stay, so it makes the conversation a lot easier. But with Trent, I think it's different because it's Real Madrid calling. And Julian, I'm not comparing Salah to Messi. Messi is the GOAT. I'm saying Messi-like numbers from 10 years ago. There's a difference between comparing numbers and comparing players. Messi is the greatest of all time.
So I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans talk about Trent, how he's ending his tenure this season. For example, I don't know, that goal you conceded versus United. Do you feel he's putting less intensity into games?
Some games, yes. I mean, like the game against Man United was probably his worst performance of the whole year, bro. Like that was an absolutely horrible performance. Lack of effort, lack of application. Like it's just not good. It's just not good at all. And I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. The game that he put on against Man United. But ever since then, he's like, listen, whether I'm going to leave or not, I'm going to put in all my effort. And he started to put on all his effort again. You know, even defensively, people say Trent this, Trent that defensively. People have, and I feel like this is the problem. Like, I'll give you an example. Dembele, right? Dembele, if you ask me a year ago, I'd say he's one of the most overrated players in football history. Now, this season, after he has consistent performances, I'll say Dembele has been one of the best players in the world. The problem is people keep opinions of the past to apply forever. Like people who say, oh, Salah has a bad first touch. No, he doesn't. You just don't watch him. Salah can't pass. No, he can pass. You just don't watch him. He can't create. No, he can. The thing is, people refuse to acknowledge improvements in players. And with Trent this season, like he's locked up Leao, he's locked up plenty of wingers he came up against. But the one game he had against Man United where he had a lack of effort and didn't perform well, people just keep talking about that game. But 90% of the time to 95% of the time, he has defended really well and he's done really well this season. So I'll defend Trent personally. And it's like, I want him to stay, obviously, but it's just the type of thing where I understand where you're coming from because it's Real Madrid. I understand. Like, I get it, bro. Like, it's the biggest club in the world. What can I do? It's the same thing with you and Kylian. Like, literally, the French president got involved. But what can you do? Like, there's nothing I can do. It's Real Madrid. I can't do anything about that.
How do you feel both, as you mentioned, Mbappe as the example and Trent, both leaving the door open when their contract is done so that their owner club in PSG and Liverpool, respectively, don't get any transfer? Do you think, does that hurt a little bit? That he does that on purpose? Or does he feel that's the only way I can leave because Liverpool and PSG are never accepting a bid?
For who, you mean?
Both Trent and Mbappe, for example, both like are leaving when the contract has done so that their parent club doesn't receive a transfer fee.
I'll be honest with you, and I'll defend the players a little bit here. I don't think it's on the player to make sure that the club receives a fee. That's on the club itself. Like, it's not Trent's fault that they didn't give him a contract a summer ago, as an example. Like, they could have given him a contract a summer ago or 2 summers ago for 3-4 years, and then they would have gotten a fee for him. So, for me, I'm not about, like, you know, blaming the football club. Blaming the individual. It's not Mbappe's fault that PSG didn't give him a 2-year extension, 3-year extension. It's not his fault. It's not Trent's fault. Like, it's not on Trent to get us a fee. It's on the club to get themselves a fee. That's just the reality of the situation.
No, but for example, Mbappe, we tried. I don't know if you've been trying with Trent in previous seasons.
Previous seasons, no. But with this season, obviously, we have tried. We have tried this season, yes. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking at like the position that we're in, and I'm not going to blame Trent for it. It's on the club to try get something for Trent. It's not on Trent to get something for Trent.
No, I 100% understand that. All right. I think we've gotten enough about Liverpool. I want to know your thoughts about Paris Saint-Germain this season. What games have you watched? How much have you watched us? And how do you feel about how we were in the beginning of the season until now? And why do you think that's happened?
With PSG, I'm not going to lie and sit up here and say I watch all French league games. I don't. You know, it's a rarity. Like, if there is a game on in the background, I watch because it's one BN Sports. So if there is a game on, I watch it. You know, I'll watch a bit of Montpellier for Moussa Tamari because he's Jordanian like me.
Oh, yeah.
And then he moved to Rennes as well. So I watch a couple of them games. He missed a crazy chance last game. But when it comes to PSG, like, I don't watch a lot of PSG games, probably mostly in the Champions League. But when it comes to PSG, like, I think the biggest strength you have for me is Luis Enrique. 2 years ago, I was asked, like, if you could get someone after Klopp, who would you have? And Luis Enrique was one of the people I brought up. I really like Luis Enrique. I'm a massive fan of Luis Enrique. I think he's a fantastic manager. He's a fantastic coach. I think he works really well with youngsters. He develops youth players. He brings the best out of players. He's a very good man manager as well. And PSG are doing what's required of them in Ligue A. Like, with all due respect, I don't look at PSG in Ligue A and go like, wow, you won Ligue A. It's a surprise. I know you have 0 losses this season, which is, of course, impressive to be invincible and not lose a game. And we'll see if that goes to the end of the season. But this is, by far, I think, right now, your biggest test. And the reason why this is your biggest test as PSG is the fact that your second game is at Anfield. So even if you win by 1-0, by 2-0, you know that it's not over because you have to come to Anfield, because you have to play the second leg in the stadium that Mourinho and Wenger failed to explain what happened to them over there. In a stadium that has given miracles, like the 4-0 win against Barcelona, like the 4-3 win against Dortmund. So many absolutely crazy, like, moments and happened at Anfield. But from a PSG perspective, the thing that worries me the most, as someone who watches them casually, I would say, is the front three. The front three, I think, and I've said this even like earlier on in my channel, they're the most flexible front three in Europe, I think. Like you just interchange all the time. Desire Doué, Barcola, I liked him from his Lyon days. I wanted us to sign him from Lyon. Like I'm a massive fan of Bradley Barcola. I really like him. I think he has a very high ceiling. I think he could be like easily one of the best wingers in the world. I was so upset when he signed Kvaratskhelia. Like I wanted Kvaratskhelia at Liverpool as well. And I think literally all three can play anywhere. Like you have no problem. Okay, Dembele, you're gonna start on the right. Then we move you to the middle a little bit. Then we move you to the left a little bit, and everyone just interchanges. Desire Doué, I think he's still raw a little bit, but you know he's showing his abilities this season. But your front three is your biggest strength for me. Like I look at PSG, that front three is scary for anyone in Europe. Like I don't think any side, PSG or Liverpool, is gonna keep a clean sheet in Paris or in Anfield. It's not going to happen. Like there will be no clean sheet. We're both going to concede in both games. Like I see that happening, to be honest with
you. Do you think our midfield is a strength? Because there's one narrative that goes against our midfielders, not even about their ability, rather their size. They say, I've seen tweets like, will you pull up to Anfield with a small Vitinha, a small Neves? Do you look at that the same way?
No, I think your midfield is a midfield that can be got at. Like this is how I look at PSG. I look at your front line, and I think it's your biggest strength. Your back five, sometimes you see weaknesses in them, not necessarily Marquinhos, but like the ones around him a little bit. Hakimi is on and off, not always amazing, but sometimes very amazing. Sometimes he's good, sometimes very good, sometimes he's okay. Same thing with Nuno Mendes. Like Donnarumma can have a Bozo moment. He's capable of doing some crazy stuff. You look at that right there. Beraldo, I don't know, 50-50 on Beraldo. Marquinhos is obviously the one that's experienced there, has a lot of experience. But you look at the midfield, and I don't think, and one of the reasons why I'm confident is your midfield, because I don't think your midfield can handle our midfield. Like your midfield now, Vitinha, Joao Neves, whoever it is gonna play. Like sometimes he actually plays one of the wingers as well, like as a 10, like in front of the midfielders. Whoever it is, I think with, and this is something that upsets people, but athleticism matters. Like it's important in the sport. And I think like against the Szoboszlai, against the Gravenberch, against the McAllister, against players like that, I don't think you will have joy, to be honest with you. Like I think your midfield is something that we will probably target. And we're going to play with an extra midfielder, by the way. I think we're going to play 4 in midfield. Get ready for that. Okay. Yeah. The formation we played against City away. I don't know if you saw that game.
No, I watched that game with Curtis Jones playing as that dropping false 9.
Yes. Remember this. I'm making a prediction, but I think what I say will happen. Curtis Jones is going to be essentially a left winger, but inverting into midfield. So we're going to play with 4 midfielders, specifically because the first game is away. Like a 1-0 loss is okay. It's not that deep. Like, Adi, we can come back at Anfield.
But do you see that happening? Do you see Liverpool losing?
No, I don't see Liverpool losing. I think we have what it takes to handle PSG, home and away. I think this is your biggest test, and I don't think you're gonna pass this test, to be honest with you. Like, I'm really not worried about PSG when it comes to the Champions League. And you signed a death warrant because the second league is at Anfield. Yani, even if you are 2-0 up, I still think we can make a comeback in the second leg. As crazy as it sounds.
No, I understand that from all the previous comebacks you've made. But I disagree when it comes to the midfield, because I think a lot of people are a bit misinformed about our midfield, especially a player like Joao Neves, who's probably been the best performing midfielder at any UCL side this season. Vitinha, he was in the UCL knockout stage team of the season last season. And then obviously the third one, it's been a mixture between either Fabian Ruiz, Desire Doué, or Warren Zara Emre in the beginning. So there isn't really a strong third. But you talked about athleticism. The thing with us, because we're such a possession-based side, and Luis Enrique, the team he's trying to build us off, is 2011 Barca. How crazy that might sound. It's all about keeping the ball away from the possession with really good counter press and pressing. So we're rarely put in situations where like elite athleticism is needed for that to happen. Like we mostly keep the ball. But you're saying like Liverpool, you think they will give us the ball and sit back more and play on the counter?
Yeah, 100%. We're not. Listen, it's not going to be Simeone. It's not like we're gonna put the 10 men behind the ball. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. But Arne Slot has shown this season the capability of surrendering possession. You want possession, you can have possession. Adi, no problem. The thing is with this thing you just asked regarding your midfield, I think this is the game where it will get tested. Us on the counter attack, because we're willing to give possession. I don't think Arne Slot is so fixated on having like possession this season. Like we're not fixated on it. Away at City, I don't know if you watched. You did watch the game. You just told me. Away at City, we took our moments. We arrive in moments. Okay, we're gonna attack now. We attack a little bit, score a goal. Khalas, City, here you go. Keep the ball, no problem. We'll give PSG the ball, and we'll set up in a low block, and then we'll just try to hit on the counter attack. You know, with Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, whoever it is, we'll try to hit on the counter attack. And yeah, with the interlinking with Szoboszlai, with the athleticism we have in midfield, I think it's like the perfect scenario to beating PSG. Because it'll be crazy to try just play possession game. We will keep possession, but I think it's going to be like 35 to 40%. Not 50, 60. Like PSG will have most of the possession, specifically in Paris.
If you go down a goal, do you think that will change how you play, or you will still stick to the same game plan?
I think we'll stick to the plan. Even if we go a goal down. I think we will stick to the plan, because we will take our moments. Like Salah will have a moment. You know, we have players that have moments in games where they appear, get you a goal, get you an assist, do something. And I think this is the thing. Like, even if you go 1-0 up, at the end of the day, because the second leg is at Anfield, losing 1-0 away in Paris is not that deep for me. And I think it's this. Obviously, the players will want to win, but I'm saying they won't lose hope if they're 1-0 down away in Paris. Second leg at Anfield, we have belief in ourselves. And now there's no more away goals as well. Away goals don't apply. So I don't have to just try my best to score a goal away in Paris, because the goal means more than a goal at Anfield. It doesn't. Like now you can no longer, like if you beat us 1-0 and then you lose 2-1 at Anfield, you don't go through anymore, because that rule has been scrapped. So there's no more away goals rule. I think this plays a role in all the managers' thoughts, because an away goal does not mean more than a home goal anymore. So you don't have to go away from home and like, oh my God, try my best to score, because it doesn't make that much of a difference in the big picture.
True.
If you lose 1-0 away to PSG and you come to Anfield and you beat them 2-0, 3-1, whatever it is, you go through anyway, because the away goal doesn't count like 2 goals anymore.
You know, Liverpool, they're very good at surviving when they're sitting in their low block, having Van Dijk and Konate, Alisson. But, you know, the most dangerous thing about PSG is we're not a central team. You know, most teams, they attack from the center, try to build up from the center, especially at Pep side. Us, we do everything. We overload the wings. For example, on the right-hand side, in one sequence, you can have Desiree Doué, Dembele dropping to the right, Kvaratskhelia, and Hakimi bombing down. Do you think Liverpool could survive? I don't know, if you're sitting back, I don't know, in 20, 30 minutes of the 90 minutes, do you think he could survive? Like PSG overloading the wings, putting balls into the box? Because I saw you survived really. I mean, City didn't do that much, but when they did, you still managed to survive it. Do you think you will survive it the same way here?
Yeah, but you just said it. Like, you watched this against City. We survived that as well. Like, and some people might say, like, oh, City don't have. Yeah, of course. I wouldn't say the City front three is as strong as the PSG front three without Haaland specifically. So I understand your perspective and your logic if you're saying, okay, you survived maybe against a weaker City front three. I genuinely understand where you're coming from. But when it comes to you know, when it comes to like the concept of it, you just said it. Like, the concept of us surviving in a low block exists, and we've done it before, and we've shown the capability of doing it. So I'm not really like that scared of sitting in a low block. And the thing is, you have to be worried about the counter attack. That's the thing, because you can have possession and we can be parked and we can defend for our lives, but at any point in time, Salah one-on-one with Szoboszlai, he's running down the wing, he's got Diaz on the overlap, Jota on the overlap, Jones, whoever it is, and suddenly it's 1-0 to Liverpool out of nowhere. It's like, and that's the thing with Arne Slot. You remember earlier on the stream we were talking about it. He gives us a different element in terms of like style of play. It's not. If Jurgen Klopp was manager, I would still back us to beat PSG, but in a different style. We're going to come there, press you to pieces. Every time the center backs have the ball, run at you, steal the ball, and then boom, score a goal on the counter attack. Gegenpress. Now it's different, you know. Not Atletico bad, but like still capable of doing it if you would like.
Yeah, because whenever you've said moments and so on, I've somewhat looked at this Liverpool team a bit like Madrid in the UCL, where they know when to take moments, they know when to sit back, they know when to attack. A very mature team, especially because you have a lot of mature players in Mohamed Salah and Van Dijk. So you play in that way. Is there any weaknesses you would say in playing in a more moments way than a consistent Genge press way?
Everything has its has its negatives, because maybe there were times this season where, and it's been like singular times, like maybe away at Spurs in the first leg of the Carabao Cup, or at home to Forest. Maybe Salah didn't have a moment. Maybe we didn't turn up and we ended up losing or drawing the game. But that doesn't happen often. If PSG drew against if PSG drew like in terms of like Champions League draw, you came up against Barcelona, I'd say you're gonna beat them. Like, I think if someone comes at you, hands a flick ball, that plays into your hands more. Because if you're doing what we intend to do, which is Doué, Barcola, Dembele on the counter attack,
yeah,
Barcelona defense getting destroyed directly. Now, obviously, you would want to keep possession still because it's Enrique, but you'd have a bigger chance. But with us, I think we're flexible tactically. We can do the defensive work. We can do the offensive work. We can do possession. We can do out of possession. Is there a negative to it? Then only negative could be maybe if Salah doesn't take his moment, or someone misses a chance, or someone misses a one-on-one. Like, give an example. Brentford away from home, when we were playing Brentford in the league, Salah had a moment. He played a pass right into Gakpo's feet. Gakpo in front of goal, and he missed. So it took a moment out of nowhere from the guy with the least moments in Darwin Núñez to do something. So it does have its negatives, but for the most part, I prefer being flexible over having one specific style and one style only. Because if you have one style and one style only, you have to beat everyone in your style. Thing is, like Champions League final in Paris from 3 seasons ago, we were much better than Real Madrid. Courtois won man of the match. Like, come on, if your goalkeeper wins man of the match, obviously the other team were better. But Courtois put on an absolute masterclass. But that day, no one could watch that game and said Madrid were better than us. They weren't. But what did they do? They scored a goal in a moment. Vinicius Jr. The rest of the game, like if you open new tab, Liverpool Real Madrid Champions League final highlights, it's all Liverpool. It's like 9 minutes Liverpool and 1 minute the Vinicius goal. The rest is all Courtois making save after save. That's it. So, and we do have that in Alisson. Like, that's another thing. So do I have a goalkeeper that I can trust? Yes, I do. Alisson Becker. And I think, once again, it's not crazy of me to say Alisson Becker is the best goalkeeper in the world either. That's a position I can honestly say we have it covered. Fantastic goalkeeper.
You talked about you see PSG. You don't see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet in either 2 games or something. How do you see PSG scoring? And is it more of how Liverpool have scored or more of how PSG score?
We have 2 players in the same player. There's a left back that plays for Liverpool Football Club. I'd like to introduce you. He goes by the name of Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson is either Roberto Carlos or like horrible. There is no in the middle with Andy Robertson. Is there a world where Ousmane Dembele cooks the life out of Robertson? Yes. That world exists. That world exists, unfortunately. So I can never be 100% confident because of Robertson. But if you're going to score a goal, it's obviously going to be like the technique of the players that you have in the front 3, interchanging, giving the center backs hell. It's not like PSG are going to get the ball and cross it into the box, because Van Dijk and Konate would eat that for breakfast. What you'll try to do is try to create triangles with a third midfielder, with a right back, as you said, overlapping, Hakimi, Dembele, maybe Vitinha or Zaire Emery, or Joao Neves on the right-hand side, helping out, trying to get in behind, trying to do something. I watched your game against Manchester City, and a lot of the goals that you scored, like the goals that you scored, a lot of them were that, like creating overlap. And at the same time as well, PSG can create on the counter. PSG can counterattack. That's one thing that I can never ever disrespect from a PSG perspective. Because just like I said, Before you know it, Salah is running in behind. Before you know it, Dembele, Doué, whoever, Barcola are running in behind. Now, the one thing that separates us is our front three is more experienced and have had more of these moments. Like Barcola is still a kid. Desire Doué is still a kid. Like they're not, 28, 29, 31, 32 experienced, been there, done that. They haven't had that experience yet. While I've seen like Salah create a moment away at the Allianz. I've seen, Salah score against Real Madrid. I've seen, you know, um, Salah score against PSG before, against Napoli. Like I've seen him have these moments. And that's the thing that I think will have a difference here, experience. Because as you know, you're a PSG fan, you've watched your club for the last 10 years. As soon as the knockout stage starts, different game. Completely different game. Like in the Champions League, I'm saying you watch them 10 years in the Champions League now consistently. As soon as the knockout stages start, it becomes chess. In the group stages, anyone can beat anyone at any given time. We've seen Real Madrid lose to Sheriff Tiraspol and win the Champions League. Real Madrid could win the Champions League this season. They lost to Brest or Lille or someone. They lost to like someone, and they lost to AC Milan as well at the Bernabeu. Like all these teams have bad moments in the group stages. The year that we won it, we lost to Red Star Belgrade. We went away to Red Star Belgrade and lost over there, but we still ended up winning it. So the knockout stages becomes a game of moments. And let's say Salah is running through on goal. Do I trust him more than I trust one of the PSG forward line players? Yes, because of his experience, because of who he is.
So, example, if PSG knock out Liverpool, how do you see that happening? What would it take from PSG to knock out Liverpool? Is it more what they do in the first leg, or more what they do in, as you said, the second leg at Anfield?
I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't see you knocking us out in any scenario, to be honest. Like, I know it'll be a tough game in Paris, specifically, first game will be tough, but I don't see you knocking us out. And if you do knock us out, then it has to be individual errors. Like, Konate makes an error, Van Dijk makes an error, Alisson makes an error, individual errors leading to goals, Robertson, Trent, whoever it is, maybe forward line players not taking their chances. Like if PSG knock out Liverpool, it will be more like Liverpool messing up their own fate. Liverpool messing up on the attack. Liverpool messing up defensively. Liverpool messing up losing the midfield battle. Those are the things that I mean. So I think if we do end up like losing the game, it's because of like individual errors. I don't think it's because of PSG brilliance that we'll lose the game, because essentially, as we're watching both clubs, Liverpool are obviously in a better position right now.
But why couldn't you see PSG overpower Liverpool across both legs? Do you think the quality between the two teams is that big?
Experience in these moments. Alisson, Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson, Konate played in a World Cup final. McAllister, World Cup champion. Szoboszlai took Hungary to the Euros for the first time in 50 years. He's a captain of Hungary. Gravenberch, experience with Bayern, with Ajax. Salah, experience, won everything. And I'm looking at just the experience, and it plays a part. How many times have we watched the Champions League, me and you both, Mo, and you watch Real Madrid, and you see Modric, who's 90 years old, do something because of his experience? Remember Modric's pass against, I think it was against City or Chelsea.
To Rodrigo,
yeah. That was literally just his experience and his class shining through. I think with PSG will become a team that can win the Champions League 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if that experience keeps growing. Pep Guardiola said something and people mocked him for it, but he's absolutely right. Before you win the Champions League, you first must get to a quarterfinal, get knocked out, semi-final, get knocked out, keep fighting, and then you build up that experience. Look at what happened to Man City. These guys got knocked out by Lyon, by Monaco, by Liverpool, who were in 4th place, by Tottenham Hotspur, lost the Champions League final to Chelsea with Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. So they built up that experience. The reason why I'm saying that about PSG, someone in the chat will say, oh, Husam, we've been in the Champions League for a long time. You have done. Yes, but here's the difference. That was PSG with Mbappe. This is PSG 2.0. This is PSG post-Mbappe. This is PSG not built around one player. This is a team PSG. This is the team. This is 11 individuals playing to win a game of football. And you have to build up that experience. The one guy I'm worried about the most from your team is two people for me. I look at and worry me just from in terms of individual brilliance, and that's Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. As much as I love Barcola, I still think Kvaratskhelia is probably 3 levels above him, just based off of experience again and moments. So I look at those two players, Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, and those are the two players that worry me. But just like we're having this conversation, Luis Enrique is worried about Salah as well. He's worried about McAllister. He's worried about Szoboszlai. He's worried about Van Dijk, about Alisson, about Trent. Because just like we talk about moments, right? You could be sat there, you're sitting like this doing a watch along. Trent, 40-yard diagonal. Salah, 1-on-1, 1-0. Done. Like both of them could just create a moment out of nowhere. So yeah.
But you talked before about we've seen like less experienced sides beat experienced side. Like for example, the Ajax team, they be a way more experienced Real Madrid side, a way more experienced Juventus side. You don't think less inexperienced PSG could do that to a more experienced? And they overpowered those teams as well, both home and away.
You can, but it's like we're talking here possibilities versus probabilities. Possibilities, factually, I can't say Club Brugge won't win the Champions League because they're in it. So how can I say they can't? But probably they won't. So are we going to talk about the 5%, 10% chance or the 90%, 85% chance that usually what happens? Usually, Ajax will never beat Real Madrid. Usually, games like this don't happen. That's why we keep remembering them forever. The reason why they're in our memory, Ajax beating Madrid, Man City beating Madrid at the Bernabeu, when Jesus scored, even before, like, they became Manchester City of today. Moments like Lyon, moments like Monaco beating Man City. The reason why we remember those moments is because they're rare. They can happen, but they don't likely happen. 90% of the time, it's Real Madrid win the Champions League or Bayern, an English club like a Liverpool or a Chelsea, or like, well, Barcelona haven't won since 2015, but you get the point. Like, it's usually those clubs that win it. So it's not, what you're saying is not crazy. It can happen, but will it happen? The likeliness of it happening is the different question. And once again, I'll keep saying this, the second leg is at Anfield. This is the thing we have to keep in mind. So even from Enrique's perspective, if you're 2-0 up headed into Anfield, you can't say, oh, it's over, it's done, khalas. Because it's Anfield. That's the thing. Like, that's the one stadium no one wants to go to in the second leg. No one.
And my other thing would be the stuff you said about Post-Mbappe. Because for me, it's more that we were Neymar, Messi, Verratti, Ramos. And then last season was the post that. And even if you watched like PSG last season, sure, the team was somewhat built around Mbappe, trying to get the best out of Mbappe. But the reason we reached the Champions League semi-final wasn't even because of Mbappe. Like, I don't even feel he's that big of a miss. Like, I felt Verratti was a bigger miss than him. I felt Neymar, when he was fit, was a bigger miss than him. So for me, this is more the second season of the Lucho era instead of the first season post-Mbappe era.
Obviously, you support PSG, so you'd know more than me. And I'm only talking from the outside looking in. From the outside looking in, like, post-Mbappe Paris is a different type of Paris. For me watching as a spectator, for me watching as a neutral with no emotions involved whatsoever. I watch PSG, and the best version I saw of PSG in my life was the version that got to the Champions League final. And you probably were the better team even against Bayern. But once again, remember we talk about moments. Coleman, experience. World Cup final, winner of all leagues with everyone, just like it's his experience gives you a moment. Kimmich, experience. Players like that, experience. Thiago Alcantara was on Bayern Munich at the time. Experience. That's once again like something that I speak about heavily in the Champions League because I think experience really, really matters. And I think the experience that you signed in Kvaratskhelia, as an example, could be massive experience for you. Because nothing is stopping Kvaratskhelia against Liverpool, 7th minute, dribble past 6 players, yalla, score goal. Because Kvaratskhelia is capable of doing that. He's that type of player. He's a difference maker, which is why I wanted him to sign for us. And then David Ornstein dropped the bomba, and then our hearts were broken like 2 hours later. But obviously, you would know more about your club than me because you watch them on a weekly basis. But just from the outside looking in, you could say it's like Enrique's second season, but for me, and for I would say probably most of the neutrals that don't really watch PSG as much, it's more like post-Mbappe PSG, because you now have to develop yourself back up. You have to get back up to that level where people are talking and talking and talking and talking.
Yeah, because what I look is like, as you mentioned, we bought like Neymar and Mbappe. We had round of 16 exits. Then we reached the final. Then we went to the semi-final. Then we got Messi, pretty much ruined the project. Got 2 round of 16s. Then we got rid of most of the players. Got semi last season, and like are heading confidently into the second season of Luis Enrique. But I understand that, and as you said, that's most people's I don't know, perspective of this Paris Saint-Germain team. Because even though I felt Mbappe wasn't the main reason we went to the semi last season, he obviously took majority of the headlines. He was the big name of that team and everything. You seem to rate. I mean, you've said a lot of great stuff about Luis Enrique. What do you think he looks at this Liverpool team and is like, all right, that's what I want to attack. That's what I want to do against this Liverpool team. Because he usually doesn't, a Thomas Tuchel, he looks at every opponent and changes the game plan based on that. Luis Enrique will still try to play the same football, but obviously will try to look at some weaknesses. What do you think Luis Enrique is thinking about now?
Luis Enrique right now is thinking about targeting our fullbacks. 100% that's what Luis Enrique is thinking about right now. I think anyone who watches Liverpool will tell you, obviously, targeting Trent, targeting Robertson is probably going to be his go-to. Attacking with Konate and Van Dijk, for the most part, will be pointless. So you would have to try attack down the right-hand side. If Trent is going, high up the pitch, overlapping with Salah, you will create a space on the right-hand side, which Konate will have to cover that whole space. Obviously, Andy Robertson can be got at. The likes of Saka got at him. Other multiple different players have given him hell this season. So he could, if you would like, have a moment in those. So I think if I'm in Enrique's place, even if I'm in his place, and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? Even though this is a very difficult game, it's a more difficult fixture. What can I do tactically? What I would do is I would attack down the wings for the most part and try to attack down the right-hand side and left-hand side. The right-hand side, because Salah doesn't track back. So I'm going to ask a midfielder to step up there, like a Soboslai or a Gravenberch, McAllister, whoever. And on the left-hand side, Robertson, because he can be got at. So I think if I'm watching PSG against Liverpool with an expectation of something, I'm expecting PSG to attack down our fullback sides. I don't expect PSG to be like down the middle. I think they're going to be a lot of wing play with the triangles that you yourself spoke about at the start. Like Zaire Emery or Vitinha with like Kvaratskhelia and Nuno Mendes, or like Hakimi with Joao Neves, with whoever, with Ousmane Dembele. Create that triangle right there. 1-2s, triangle football, like a rondo almost, if you would like, and try create something. That's what I see happening the most. Like I think, and as much as this will be the biggest test for PSG this season, which I think is a fair statement, I think the biggest test for Robertson and Trent this season is this game, by far. Because every team you come up against, and you experience this as well, sometimes they have one winger that's good. PSG, essentially, unless you start Goncalo Ramos, which I don't see you starting, essentially PSG have 4 good wingers attacking you at the same time if you play one of the wingers in midfield. So all of them are very good technically. All of them are very good with dribbling. All of them are very good in tight spaces. And that's the thing that you can cause a lot more teams problems. That's the thing that Enrique will use against us. So, yeah.
I mean, you've been saying like this will obviously be our biggest test. Do you think this will be Liverpool's biggest test this season?
We played Real Madrid. We played Manchester City. We played Arsenal at the Emirates with Saka before the injuries. This was not our biggest test. Like, obviously, playing Real Madrid is the biggest test in Europe, as you yourself have seen, even when you're better than them. And even for me, like, we were 1-0 up and we were so much better than Real Madrid. Real Madrid, penalty. Alhamdulillah, Kelleher saved the Mbappe penalty. And we end up winning 2-0. There is nothing like facing Real Madrid in the Champions League. With all due respect to PSG, with all due respect to any football club, that's the worst club to face in Europe. Simeone, Mo, I don't know if I'm speaking for you here, but Simeone, we are all with you. Atleti, we need you.
100%.
Please knock
100%.
them out. If Real Madrid are out, everyone has hope in the Champions League. خلاص, everyone believes they can win it. Everyone thinks I can do something. Just knock out Real Madrid for us, Simeone. I'm going to be there, inshallah, tomorrow supporting Atletico Madrid. Vamos Atleti. Let's go. I'm going to learn their song today and sing it tomorrow, inshallah.
Because I saw like your draw reaction. The thing you were looking at was like, are we going to play Madrid? Are we going to play Madrid? So if Liverpool go into facing Madrid, how confident would you be facing them?
5% confidence. That club has like dark magic over the Champions League. I don't know what the hell it is. You face them, you're a lot better than them. You destroy them. Their goalkeeper wins man of the match, and suddenly they're winning the Champions League out of nowhere, bro. Like, listen, that Champions League thing with Madrid, I have learned over this last 5-6 years, just never say anything about Real Madrid. Just never say anything. Stay humble. And inshallah, if you pray, you know, we're in Ramadan right now, pray, inshallah, ya Rab, we beat Real Madrid. That's the only way. Like, you just need pray. Like, out of nowhere. And people in the chat even are laughing as I'm saying it. It's just like they do something from nothing. You're sat there. You're 1-0 up against Real Madrid. You're just watching. Suddenly, Vinicius dribble past 3 players, cross, Mbappe goal. Suddenly, Rodrigo scored a header against Manchester City. Rodrigo, he's like, his height is still here. His height is like less than my armpit. I'm 6'1". He's shorter. Bro, the guy scored the header against the Giants of Man City at the back. These guys do something out of nothing. I will never be confident against Real Madrid in the Champions League. That's why we need Simeone. We need you, Atleti. We need you tomorrow.
Do you think they have the biggest chance of defeating them out of any team?
Atletico?
Yeah, because I mean they play them in the league. They know them really well.
Yes. There is 2 clubs who I back to beat Real Madrid in the Champions League this season: Atletico and Barcelona. Had it been Barcelona versus Madrid, I don't know what it is, but you see the same thing we say about like Real Madrid in the Champions League. It's the same thing with Barcelona whenever they face Real Madrid. I don't know if you notice. Even you notice more when you watch El Clasico. Barcelona, like Real Madrid players, they see the Barcelona shirt, they forget football. Mbappe was offside 700 times against Barcelona. They went to Saudi Arabia and the Super Cup and also lost by 4 goals. Like, I don't know what it is, but every time they see the Barcelona kit, they just bottle it completely. So Barcelona, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Someone in the chat correct me, please, if I'm wrong. I think Atletico haven't lost a game to Madrid in 2 years or something. I could be wrong, but I think for the last 2 years, they haven't lost once.
I know this season it's both draws. Potentially last season as well. I don't remember last season.
I'm unsure, wallahi. But I think they haven't lost to them in 2 years, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
So, not looking at, you know, PSG facing Liverpool or Barca having, you know, being on the easier brackets, who would be your top 5 favorites to win the Champions League this season?
Favorites to win Champions League now that Manchester City are out, because just like Madrid, I think they have like the Pep factor, you know, like Ancelotti does this, and then the players suddenly wake up and play football. But Real Madrid, until they're out, will always be first favorite for me. So I put Real Madrid first. I put Liverpool second. Third, Barcelona. Actually, no, wait. I say first Real Madrid, second Liverpool, third Inter Milan, fourth Barcelona. And if I'm considering that PSG will get knocked out, then I'll say fifth Atletico Madrid. Bayern Munich for me is anyone could beat them.
Just PSG Atletico then. Like, not look who they're going to face, that PSG are going to face Liverpool and so on. Like, do you think Atletico
so
or
if I don't know who they're going to face?
Yeah, is PSG or Atletico a stronger team in terms of winning the UCL?
No, I would still put those teams ahead. Like that would be my objective 5. You know, but if you tell me, okay, do PSG have a chance? They do. But if you ask me, do Arsenal have a chance to win the Champions League? I'd say no, they don't. Like, you know, it's not a 0 chance. But it's smaller than the 5 teams I mentioned. So I think Real Madrid are favorite to get knocked out. Second, I'd put Liverpool. Third, I'd put Inter, because Inzaghi low block is low block from hell. This guy will play 10 men behind the ball or 9 men behind the ball, and he'll put Lautaro and Marcos Thuram halfway line, and that's it. This is his formation. And unless you have players that break down low block, you're gonna find it difficult. Barcelona, the reason why Barcelona are fourth, I'll tell you. Some people might be asking, why is Barcelona fourth? Their defense. They concede a lot of goals. And yes, you beat Benfica 5-4 or 4-3 or whatever, but the other teams don't have Otamendi at the back. Other teams don't have Belotti up top either. Like, other teams can hurt Barcelona on the counter. Other teams can hurt them like this. And with PSG, do I think you're better than the teams I mentioned? Probably not. Probably not. But if you eliminate Liverpool, God forbid, not gonna happen. But if you do, then that sends a message to everyone in Europe. The only thing you should pray for is the same thing I pray for, which is Atleti. That's the only thing you should pray for.
The thing is, I mean, we have obviously very similar story to Liverpool. Whenever we face Madrid, we outperform them. We have more shots. We concede less shots, but the game always ends in a Madrid victory.
Yeah,
but I, despite all of that, especially with Mbappe being there, if we beat Liverpool and go on to the semi-final, I would love to meet Madrid and Mbappe and knock them out.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Trust me, don't do this. I promise you, I did this before. I said revenge and all this. It doesn't work. I'm telling you, just pray Atleti beat them. I promise you, brother to brother, wallahi. Liverpool, PSG, we're not rivals. We have no rivalry. I'm telling you right now, as a brother, pray that Atletico beat Real. Don't do revenge settings. Forget about revenge. It doesn't matter. I've done that before. Oh, I want revenge because Ramos injured Salah. And then hope you lose. And you want revenge again, and then you lose again. Forget revenge, Habibi. Ignore revenge.
But imagine beating them. Wouldn't that be great?
Imagine beating them, and then Vinicius is scoring a goal on the counter attack, and then he has 3 goals in the semi-final, and then they say he deserves Ballon d'Or. Come on, man. Like, it's just Madrid is just a horrible team to face. I don't want Madrid. I don't want Madrid under any circumstances.
No, I mean, I understand that. If you want to win the UCL, you got to beat the best. But I understand you would rather Atletico knock them out, make it easier for yourself. So you can
would rather beat the best. Let's say PSG win the Champions League this season by beating Club Brugge, Aston Villa, Bayer Leverkusen, and let's say Inter in the final. Would you care? Who cares?
No, it's obviously a Champions League is a Champions League.
Champions League is a Champions League. If I ask you, like, Porto beat Monaco, no one cares. They still say Mourinho won the treble with Porto. So at the end of the day, if you win the Champions League, you win the Champions League.
No, for me, it's more the journey when I'm in the Champions League. I'm never going to be like, oh, I don't want to face that team. I would rather face this team. It's like when we got a really tough group stage, I was extremely excited about that. Obviously, we were really close to getting knocked out, but I always like a good test to harden ourselves.
But that's why the only club I wouldn't want to face is Madrid. That's it. Because of the black magic they have in this competition. But other than that, I don't care about anyone else. Like,
it's also Mbappe. Mbappe, that's part of the storyline, part of the narrative. Because imagine PSG beats Madrid and knock them out. The narrative would be Mbappe made the wrong choice. Mbappe either shouldn't have left PSG or left at the wrong time. And yeah, I would love that. I would love that, especially with all the negative.
WWE storyline. You're not thinking logically what's the easier game.
I don't know. Especially when I look at this Madrid side, I think they could be. Obviously, you say that about Madrid every single season. Maybe this is the season they're not at their best. This is the season you can beat them. But I feel, I don't know. I feel maybe they need to get rid of Vinny to get the full potential out of the team and Mbappe, for example. Maybe this is the season you want to face them.
But I give you an example. You say you have to be the best. You have to beat the best. Who did Real Madrid beat in the Champions League final last year? Dortmund.
Yeah.
Dortmund, with all due respect, is not even a top 10 team in Europe. I think any of the clubs I mentioned, plus PSG, plus probably even Arsenal, beat Dortmund. Like, literally, and I'm not even exaggerating, like, I see some Europa League clubs could beat Dortmund. Lazio could beat Dortmund. What's stopping Lazio from... Lazio could easily beat Dortmund. You know, maybe Athletic Bilbao could beat Dortmund. That's not good. That's like Dortmund, Lille are facing Dortmund. Lille have a chance to get for the first time ever in a Champions League quarterfinal because they face Dortmund. I think to be the best, you have to beat the best. is not objectively how a lot of the Champions Leagues happen. I mean, like when you say beat the best, like a lot of the times you have an easier route to a Champions League final. You know, like sometimes you just have a good luck in the draw, and you know, you're on easier side. Like look at Barcelona as an example right now. Who do Barcelona have to face to get to a Champions League final? They have to face Benfica, who they already beat in the group stages. They have to face the winner of Dortmund Lille, which, with all due respect, they're probably going to handle. And then they're going to face the winner of Inter Bayern or Bayern Munich. Like, essentially, until the semi-final, they have no tests. But they could get to a Champions League semi-final with ease. They wouldn't care that they're playing easier opponents. I wish I'm on that side of the draw. I wish I'm the one playing Benfica and Lille or Dortmund and then an Inter or a Bayern. Because then I would say we're going to get to the Champions League final. But because I have Dark Magic Club on my side, I can't say it. I have to say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أتلتي.
But with the example you mentioned, like Madrid still beat City and Bayern last season. And the reason they played Dortmund, you said all of these teams would beat Dortmund. Well, Dortmund knocked us out. It should have honestly been a PSG Madrid final, but we battled them. We battled them.
That's something you have to ask your own club, mate. That's like, yeah, you be at Dortmund. Come on, Mo, you're better.
No, that's alongside United in terms of embarrassing defeats for us in the knockout stages.
Yeah, United was embarrassing. I can't lie. I remember still. Lukaku, Rashford.
We gave. United had 3 shots the entire game, and all of the shots were Buffon gave it to them, Kerrer gave it to them, and then a penalty. I've never gone through anything similar. I mean, maybe when Madrid scored 3 goals in like 10-15 minutes against us as well. Usually I don't know if you've seen my combined 11. I would want to know what's your combined 11 for the PSG Liverpool game. So
Show me your
4-3-3.
combined 11 first. Let's go. I want to see your combined 11. I want to see if it's delusional or realistic, so I know how to attack this.
I want you to make your combined 11, and then
I will, but I just want to see yours first. I want to see yours first. It's gonna be interesting to see Mo's combined 11. Did you post it on Twitter?
No, I'll bring it up here.
Okay, let's go. I'm excited to see. I'm on your Twitter right now trying to find it.
I don't think I put a short video. Maybe that you could. But it was a long time ago. I think I uploaded them like when the draw actually happened.
I'm trying to find it as well just now.
All right. I'm going to show it here on the screen.
Yeah, let's go.
There you go.
Combined 11. Alisson, Hakimi, Konate, Van Dijk, McAllister, João Neves, Vitinha, Barcola, Dembele, and Salah. But I love why did you shove Dembele down the middle? Just you have to have him in the team, huh? That's what you're doing because he's not a striker.
I mean, this season
we could do this. What I'd do. Alisson is correct, 100%. I'd put Trent right back. Konate, Van Dijk is correct. I put Hakimi left back. I'd move him to the left because he can play there. No Gravenberg is a crime to football. You have to apologize to all the audience.
Whose place is he going to take?
Vitinha.
No.
I appreciate João Neves is having a fantastic season, but I'm putting Gravenberg over Vitinha all day. Okay. Gravenberg has been the best DM in the league this whole season. Like he's been the best DM in the Premier League the whole year. He's been having a phenomenal year. Front 3 I have no problem with. But personally, just personal preference, I love Barcola. I know it's early, but I would put Kvicha on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the front 3 because I understand I'm not like, okay, Gakpo, you could make an argument. as well. Okay, I would say this is my combined 11. Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk. I put Hakimi left back. Gravenberch, McAllister, Joao Neves. I put Salah on the right. I put Dembele down the middle, and I would put. You could put Gakpo on the left, to be fair. Because Gakpo is having a great year. He scored goals against Man City, against Real Madrid, against Man United as well. You could put probably, I would probably go Gakpo on the left still, because Kvaratskhelia hasn't played enough yet. So you'd have Dembele, Joao Neves, and Hakimi in the combined 11. 3 players.
That's it.
Which is fair. It's fair. It's fair.
I mean, the first thing about Hakimi, like, I think he's better than Trent. He's been better than Trent since Luis Enrique came in, because before that he wasn't that good. And then
Why
obviously
do
Nuno,
Trent, not Hakimi?
because Hakimi rejected Madrid. They knocked
You
and he
really
closed
believe
the door.
that? You really believe that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you read the reports, it was their main objective, but then he obviously extended that PSG.
I don't believe that anyone would reject Real Madrid like that. But I think Trent is better than Hakimi. I think Trent has more to his game. Trent is a better passer, better playmaker, a better crosser of the football. And Hakimi gets cooked as well. Like, it's not like Hakimi is Maldini and right back. Sometimes he gets cooked, you know. But I think Trent is better than Hakimi and Nuno Mendes.
Okay.
Nuno Mendes is average, you know. He's not amazing. He's not average. He's like good, you know. He's a good left back. He's a very good left back, but he's not amazing. So I would play Hakimi on the left and Trent on the right. I think Hakimi can play left back, so I would put Hakimi left back.
No, he can. And then for the midfield,
Joao Neves, I know he's been amazing, so I'd have to take Vitinha out. Even though I like Vitinha and I wanted Liverpool to sign Vitinha, you can't not have Gravenberch in the team.
no, but even for the midfield, even if you want to do McAllister, Gravenberch, it should still be Vitinha ahead of Neves. Like, obviously Neves has been very good this season, in his first season for PSG, but I mean, Vitinha has been.
You think Vitinha has been better than Joao Neves?
Joao Neves, I don't know. It's hard to. Vitinha, he's such a big moments player. It was the same thing last season. He was good for us, but then when the Champions League knockout stages came up, he was insane. He's been the same for us this season. You got the man of the match versus Brest away, and potentially got the man of the match in the recent Brest 7-0 win as well, when everyone else was scoring, and because he's just that good as the number 6. So if you want to put McAllister and Gravenberch, I would say Vitinha above Neves. But I mean, both of them have been really good.
If you want to put Vitinha above Neves, obviously you're a PSG fan. Like, so it's up to you who you think has had a better season. Me personally, the few times I've watched PSG this season, I've been impressed more with Joao Neves. I think he's been better. But if you think Vitinha is better, obviously that's on you. No problem. Front three, Gakpo has to be in there. Gakpo has to be in there. Gakpo,
you think he's had a better season than Barcola?
Yes. Gakpo down the left-hand side has been cooking ever since the Euros for Netherlands. And up top, none of us have an elite striker, so Dembele being up top is fine.
No, but Dembele has played Dembele has played as a false 9 this season. He doesn't even play around wing that much anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You have a front three that can interchange. Anyone can play anywhere at any point in time. That's why it's scary. But I have no problem with Dembele up top. I think that's fair. I give PSG 3 players: Dembele, Joao Neves, and Hakimi left.
Hakimi.
Yes.
Which ones do you think?
By Jadon Sancho? Wallahi haram alayk. Why is he in this team? You know that Nuno Mendes is not amazing like people make out.
Just ahead of Robertson. I have my doubts about Nuno. It's not just last season. The season gave away a goal versus Atletico. Stupid foul versus Arsenal. So I don't know.
Nuno Mendes has a bad moment in him, and he's coming up against Salah. So good luck, brother.
No, he needs to have his best game.
He needs to be flawless in the game, or because any mistake Salah is there directly.
But that's what, like, with Nuno, I'm thinking the midfielder Barcola has to drop down and help as well, and then. I mean, if Salah shoots, the goalkeeper has to be good as well. It's not a one-man job when it comes to Mohamed Salah. And which players would you say are tight? Would you say then that Barcola and Gakpo are tight?
Yeah, because I
And
like Barcola. I can't say anything negative about Barcola. I'm telling you, from Lyon, I wanted him. We played a friendly against Lyon in Dubai, and I was like, whoa, like this Barcola guy is great. I start watching him a bit more, and I'm like, I get it, he's raw, but you can see the talent is there for him to just explode and start scoring goals. But I like Barcola. So obviously it's close with Gakpo, but I'll give Gakpo the go ahead over consistency from the Euros till today. I think it's just been delivering week in, week out. And you could tell the difference when Gakpo is not playing in the team. I don't know if you watched the Liverpool game against Wolves or multiple games where Gakpo ain't played, and you're like, damn, this looks like shit. Like, I'm sorry, but I have to say it, you know. So Gakpo would start left wing for me. Sorry. So you have three
okay,
players. I'm not being delusional. 3 players is not that bad.
I
3
want
players
to
is not that
go because you brought up like the potential lineup you have, and I really want to know that because I've been hearing different lineups. So if you could just help me build it. So this is what one Liverpool fan who came on told me. But you were saying you play more conservative, as in like a 4-4-2.
I'll tell you what I think happens. This is what I think Arne Slot will do. Curtis Jones, it replaces Diaz in that team. So take out Diaz, put Curtis Jones, and yes. So now I'll tell you what I mean in terms of lineup and formation and style. Okay. So essentially what's going to happen, it's going to be Gravenberg, McAllister, double pivot. So move them around to, if you can, to double pivot. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're both going to be like together in almost in front of the back four. You would have Soboslai on the right hand side. You'd have Curtis Jones as the left winger, quote unquote left winger, but he's not really the left winger. He's an inverted midfielder almost.
Which supposed to have been the 10, you said?
Yeah, like there and a little bit drifting to the right, Soboslai. So he'll be like an RCM, if you like, yeah, like there,
Okay.
basically. And then, yeah, Gakpo will be here, Salah will be there, something like this. This is what I expect. Jones on paper will be the left winger. On paper. You get me? So, like, when we're walking out to the pitch, you will see Jones on the left-hand side. But I don't see Jones playing left wing. He's going to be left wing coming into midfield all the time. To help initiate counterattacks or to do what we did away at Manchester City. Now, Gakpo is not 100% start. It could be Diaz that starts. That's the one question we ask. But other than that, I do think we're going to go with the 4 midfielders formation. It's the same formation we played away at Man City. So I do expect that's going to be the formation we play.
So when this team either presses or sits deep, do you think it's going to be a 4-4-2 like this? Or is it going to be Jones goes in, Gakpo there?
Salah is not going to track back, brother. Yep.
Okay. Oh, so it's going to be more like this?
Yes. It's going to be more like this. And now when Salah gets the ball on the counter-attack in the side you just shown, then you will have the runners. Soboslai, Gakpo running, McAllister running one time. You see the goal we scored against... the goal we scored against who did we play? We beat 2-0 Newcastle. The goal we scored against Newcastle, McAllister, he pops up with important goals. He scored a goal against Real Madrid as well, so he can pop up with a moment. So I think this will essentially be the formation, in terms of the way that we build up and the way that we set up as well. So Curtis Jones will just be left winger on paper, but on the pitch he will not be a left winger in my opinion. Now, the guy, the Liverpool fan that came on before me could be right. We could go with the 4-3-3, but I'm simply predicting what Slot will do based off of the opponent. Because the opponent is PSG in France. So why should Slot try to attack? He didn't try to attack away at City. He tried to go defensive, and that's what I think he will do again. I think we're just going to run the City lineup again. Whether it be with Diaz or Gakpo, that's the only question I ask. Other than that, I think this will be the team, basically.
And you're going that off how the City game went, how both teams, both position oriented, playing with a high line, you can counterattack and so on.
Yep, that's what we'll do. I think what you saw us do against City, we're going to replicate it against PSG.
And if you want to know, this is most likely we're going to line up with. The only stuff that could happen is maybe Fabian Ruiz starts in the midfield. There is a likelihood Kvara does not start, and it's Due on the wing and then Fabian in the middle. But I want Lucho to go with this, like all-out attack. We're at home. It's the first leg. If any, mistakes happen, you have a game after that to do that. But sometimes Luis Enrique, when it comes to bigger games, he plays more balanced and doesn't go full blown out.
If you ask me my prediction, I think he starts Fabian Ruiz.
Okay.
I think he's gonna go 3 midfielders.
Do you think Kvara starts? Or do it then?
Kvara comes off the bench sometimes, so I don't know if he'll start him yet. But if I'm in Enrique's place, I start Kvaratskhelia 100%. Yeah, I would start Kvaratskhelia if I'm in his place. But I do predict Fabian Ruiz will start because Enrique is not going to go all out attack versus Liverpool. He's a tactician. He's going to think in a different style. But you see that midfield three with Ruiz has a bit more balance in it, but it's still not athletic enough, in my opinion, and not strong enough. They have amazing technique. All three of them are very, very good passers of the football. They can keep the ball really well. But just athletically, pure athletic perspective, I think they will struggle against our 3 or 4.
Okay. I mean, that's why we have Hakimi and Nuno as the fullbacks, because they offer that athleticism. So usually the team will look more like this. Fabian pushes up here, and then it's more of a double pivot deep. Kvara goes inside, and then Hakimi holds the left with. It's more of a 5 at the back, with Nuno inverting as the left centre back. The main thing with Liverpool is you don't play with a striker. For example, Pacho, who's been very good, he's a bit similar to Rudiger, where he likes to go at the target man, hold on to him, and so on. But because you're not playing with a striker, I don't know. I'm wondering what he's gonna do. Is he gonna be waiting for the late runs of a Szoboszlai centrally, or is he gonna help out a Nuno versus Salah on the wing? That's what I don't know.
If you don't know, then how can I know? I don't know, to be honest with you.
No, like what? Who do you think will be your striker if you have any striker? Will it be more Jones occupying the striker role? Will it be Gakpo?
Gakpo will probably occupy that role a bit more than anything else. And if it's Diaz, then it will be Diaz occupying that role. I don't see us starting Jota. This is not the game to start Jota. I think in the quarters, when we get through, if we face Club Brugge or Villa, that's when you'll see Jota start. But against you, we're not going to start Jota in that way. Like, I think. And if he does, then it means maybe he's going all out attack slot, which is a possibility, but it's not a probability. Probably, I think he's going to go with the City team.
So I talked to the Liverpool fan. He wants to somewhat compare like the game you're going away to Paris and so on. And he mentioned the game when you went away to Leipzig. Did Slot go conservatively into that game or something? Obviously, different teams, different
Slot
games.
is very tactically flexible. He could go conservative. He could go attacking. He can go multiple different styles. He could go with the 4 midfielder formation. He could go with the 3 midfielder formation. All of these things are possible. So I don't know exactly what he's gonna do, but based off of like previous like patterns, I would assume most likely he's gonna go with the 4 midfielders formation. That's what I honestly think, and he'll probably be okay with giving PSG the ball and just counter-attacking.
I think the best thing then to end the off with is predictions. So, what is only for the first leg? What is your prediction? And then, if you want, you can mention the overall prediction as well.
The game in Paris, I think, ends 2-2. Be a high-scoring game. If you're a neutral on Wednesday, watch this game. Trust me, because it's going to be the most entertaining game. I think this game ends 2-2 or possibly even 3-3, as crazy as it sounds. I think it'd be 2-2 or 3-3. I think it'd be a high-scoring draw.
You concede that many? Have you ever conceded 3 goals?
Yeah, we have done. We conceded 3 goals. We conceded we conceded 2 goals to Villarreal away in the semi-final for 3
No, like
years.
this season on the slot.
Yeah, we have done away at Spurs. We won 6-3. We conceded 3 goals. Yeah, so 2-2, 3-3, something like that. But on aggregate, second leg at Anfield, I think we win by 2 goals. So I think it'll be on aggregate like 4-2, something like this, 5-3, something like this.
Okay. For me, I haven't really thought about the second leg prediction. I'm mostly because it's going to be based off of like what happens in the first leg. But in the first leg, my expectation and prediction is a 2-goal margin victory. I think 1 goal is not enough to be comfortable sitting in a comfortable seat because Liverpool get 1 goal and then it's already the same game. So I'm going for a 3-1 victory. But obviously, it has to be a really good performance. And yeah, going with a 3-1.
If you beat us 3-1 at the Parc des Princes, it's still not over because you come to Anfield. So
Yeah, I mean, no game is over. But a 3-1 would, because for me, when I look at the Liverpool side, it's not just the best test we're facing, it's how good you are defensively. If we can
Yeah.
show that we can score 3 goals against you and only concede 1 goal, despite playing a high line and having Salah on the counter, that would make me very confident going into the second leg. So it's mostly about, can we score against this Liverpool side? Because that's what we struggled with last season when we lost to Dortmund. We didn't score a single goal in 2 legs. So for me, that's the biggest thing for this game. We can concede 1, we can concede 2 goals. I'm already expecting, like, we're not going to keep a clean sheet. It's all about, can we score more than 2 goals against this Liverpool side, who, as you mentioned, have only conceded 3 goals once this season.
Yeah. I think what you're saying is true there. That first leg is going to be very interesting. If it ends in a draw, I think we put ourselves in a good place. And if we lose by 1 goal, we're still in a good place, I'd say. So, yeah, I'm confident about the tie overall. But we will see what happens. You know, PSG could surprise me on Wednesday. And we could have a very difficult mountain to climb when it comes back to the return leg. But, yeah, as things stand, probably going to be PSG's toughest test. And hopefully we can handle it.
All right, then. Bassam, it was a pleasure having you on, sharing all your opinions about the upcoming game, your own stories about Liverpool, slot, everything. And yeah, may the best team win across both legs.
Yes.
And yeah, I can't wait. Very excited for this game.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, big up to you, big up to the channel, big up to the audience. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. And yeah, this was very entertaining. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, then, people. That's been it from my boy PSGINT. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed this live stream. And as you